You all come from different countries, different geographies, different backgrounds, different cultures. You speak different languages. You have different ideas about your own self, and at the same time, there is something common in all of you, and that's something which has brought you here. And I must congratulate my friend Akshay Ahuja for organizing this very interesting event in which all of you are interested in education. That's the common thread that binds all of you. And some of those who have done extremely well in running their schools, also excelled in education and in many other activities related to that, are now going to be recognized as the global leaders in the school education. So there will be global school awards that will be given or already been given. So I must congratulate all of those who have won these awards, and for those who have contributed to this process of creating a new global community called Global School Community. Just now I was seeing that there was a very interesting discussion that was going on. I could hear, I could see the title. And that was about the thinking. If you reset the thinking, then how you can get a change result. Something like that we discussed, right? So it's actually to address the global problems. Actually speaking, there are many global problems. Many. If I tell you all, you'll miss your dinner. You'll say, oh, I can't eat my dinner. There are so many problems in the world. More than what could I ever imagine. But these global problems, right now there is a war going on between two countries, and other countries are watching from the sidelines but supporting it. So therefore, more or less everybody is affected by the war. There is a climate change which has created havoc in the world. The temperatures that are rising rapidly. At the same time, there is a heat wave which is hitting the Europe. And same time, there are floods going on in Asia also, including in India. So just imagine that the global problems of different types are there. But then who is the creator of the problem? Where the origin of the problem lies? The problem actually is created by no one else than the man himself or herself. Sorry. So the human beings are responsible for creation of the problem. And if you want to address the global problem, you must change the thinking. That's what we were discussing it earlier. Thinking has caused the problem. Now thinking should change. Then only the problems will be addressed. But what can change the thinking? That's very important. We realize that human beings are the cause of the problem. They could be the part of a solution as well. And then somebody thought that if I don't fight this war, I'm not going to be happy man. That's why that human being decided to start the war. Somebody else on the other side of the war felt, if I don't defend myself and I'm going to hit back, I have no right to be there in this position, so they're hitting back. So all of this is started by the human beings. Climate change, incidentally. Now there is a science which has proved that climate change is also caused by the human action. So human beings are cause of all problems. Till the human beings were born, some million years ago, the world was a much better place. When we are now addressing this problem, there would have been beautiful forest. The animals will be moving here. So now there are the worst kind of animals are moving on the planet. And they are called human beings. So animals were better off because they had a right thinking. They never went outside their own territory. But human beings want to conquer everything that is possible. Now they are thinking that is not enough. So we want to go on to other planets and conquer them. So thinking is a cause of the problem. And if you put the right thinking, it can solve the problem. And that's what we were discussing. And I was saying, how do you reset the thinking? If you reset it, the problem is solved. So resetting can happen only through education. If you educate the mind of a human being correctly, then you will be able to address the problem. And therefore, I must congratulate once again the founder of this program, the initiator of this program, Mr. Akshay Ahuja, for bringing together people, not only from education field, but from school education field. Because after some time, when the snow falls, it's still a snow. After some time, snow becomes ice. Then you can do nothing about it. Then you have to bring some hardware to break it. So mind is like that. It gets, after some time, the thoughts that we keep hearing, the thinking that goes into us becomes so solidified that you cannot change it. So at young age, when the level of schools, you can actually give a right education, you can change the thinking. And therefore, this is a very good idea to bring together schools from different countries. When I was coming for this award, a friend from Fiji wrote to me a mail. Said that I'm very happy that I'm going to be coming there and we'll be meeting. So I'm very happy. I don't know where my friend from Fiji is standing or sitting. But, so just imagine that island, Fiji, and many islands like that, have a serious threat of getting submerged because of the rise in the ocean level. But the point I'm saying is, all of us are facing different kinds of problems. Most of the problems are such that everybody gets affected by the problem, and therefore bringing new thinking through education at a school level is the right solution. And therefore I'm very happy that you have taken this initiative. And to do that, I was asking you what should I speak. Because the problem of politician, you can speak nonsense on any subject. So I was saying, what is the topic that you want me to speak on? So he said you speak on hands-on, right? Hands-on solutions or something like that. So I think hand is, with the hand, hands-on means the hands are driven by something. Which controls the hands? The brain. What controls the brain? The thinking. So therefore, actually speaking, unless you change the thinking of the people of the world, and many of you have come from different parts of the world, so many countries, 17, 18 countries a year, you will be seeing that in your own country, there is some problem or the other which you are facing besides the global problems. So the global problems are there for all to face, but to top it all, it's like icing on the pudding that we have even other problems, that is national problems. Some of them have regional problems, the country is large, like India. So all these problems can be addressed with right thinking, right education, right type of mindset. And therefore, this hands-on approach is very necessary in terms of understanding where the problem lies. If you don't just go on theoretically discussing a problem, it is a good job for a university where I am a chancellor or some other university, where the job of the university is to keep discussing. That's also necessary. If action without thought is more dangerous. So if you don't think, how are you going to get ideas? And the right idea can be generated through such process that is education institutions indulge in. But mere thinking is not enough. We need action. That's a hands-on approach. And therefore I would think that through this process that you are carrying out of bringing in people from different countries, I'm sure you would have got some time to interact with each other. I would like to share some ideas, to also share concerns, and to understand that, oh my God, we are all sailing in the same boat. It can easily be, just imagine, like there was one boat which was sailing and which capsized and which went away. And there is a film made, somebody wanted to go and watch the remains of the ship that has disappeared somewhere. But all of this can happen through us because we are like in the same boat. So we must really try to work on a hands-off to solve the problem in our given space that is available to us, the capacity that is there to us. And I think one of the best way to do is to catch them young, as they say, at a school level, try to inculcate the right idea, the right mindset, and you'll see the change coming over a period of time. Otherwise, if we just keep watching it happening, then we are heading for an imminent disaster. And human beings have accumulated a lot of wisdom. If there are no wisdom, then we couldn't have survived on this planet for such long period of time, millions of years. But it looks like, and this is not a horror story but a reality, that if we go the same way that we are going, then we may not even last for a few centuries even more as a species. Human beings have a real risk of being completely becoming extinct species on this planet. And along with that, we are going to take so many others with us, all other very precious species. So, the danger is real. Challenges are all of us to see. And if you have a hands-on approach in terms of saying, no, I am going to work on it, going to address it, it can really be, change can be brought about. And this is seen in many places. One great example of this, how the change really happens with right processes, is a very interesting thing. See, right now, it is raining in this part of the world. Somewhere it is raining even more than what is necessary. But when rain comes, the barren land suddenly becomes green. How does that happen? Because there is something which was already there within the soil. We just sprouted and now we can see the greenery for all of us to watch. That means the potential of that soil was always there. It was waiting for the rain to come so that that potential can come to fore. The human mind is like that. If we change the thinking and the right thinking comes in, you will see the dramatic change that can happen on this planet. And I think to do that, one of the greatest contribution one can make is from the, as I said, from this entire process. I'm very happy that the young entrepreneur, like Akshay Ahuja and his team, could achieve so much in such a short period of time. You'll be surprised when I was asking him, what's your age? And I was wondering at his age, I couldn't even have thought about doing anything, even 1% of what he's doing today. And that shows the competence of a young mind now. It's amazing. What you can do with that mind is truly mind-boggling. The nourishment that is required for that mind is right education. And all of you who are administrators of education or academics yourselves, you must really focus on making sure that we give right kind of education to the people. Technical education is of course necessary. If you do general education, how do patients will be treated by doctors? So we need technical education. You have to build bridges. They cannot be built by just by knowledge other than technical knowledge. So you need technical education for sure, and that of course will be universal in a way. But also we need another universal education, which can actually nourish the mind of youngsters, which can then bring to fore their hidden capacity, hidden competence, and that can really be the change that all of us are wanting to see. And once the right nourishment happens, people will start realizing, oh, it's my responsibility as well. Not just blaming the government, not blaming the politicians as we always do, but also doing something myself. And that's what the hands-on approach will be in terms of dealing with the problem. And therefore, I'm sure you as a community, a newly developed community, we are coming too close to each other, trying to meet. I'm sure there will be a WhatsApp group that will create for all of them so that they can share their knowledge and ideas. And through that, I think over a period of time, we'll see a complete change on the global scale that we are waiting for that to see. So, let me once again congratulate all the winners of these international awards. We are meeting in a very interesting place. Bangkok is one of the finest cities, not just in Asia, not just in ASEAN, of course. Thailand is 10-country group of ASEAN, but more importantly, it's a fantastic city of the world. It has all the modernities, what you see in the West, and all the best that the East has to offer is also seen in Bangkok. So Thais are one of the great people. They are the most courteous, most hospitable, and most well-natured people. But as a city, the way they are developed, it is mind-boggling. There's still a lot of greenery around despite such a large city. There is so much of cleanliness. There is so much of care for the people. That is amazing. And that shows that if a city and a country can change like this, despite the fact that they also face a lot of adversity, and if that can happen, you can imagine the kind of world that we can create if we can work together and make things change. And the only way, and I'm convinced about it without a doubt, and I can talk to anybody about it, and if somebody can convince me otherwise, I will be more than happy. But I'm sure the only way we can change the world is through education. And that too, school education, again I repeat, but more importantly, why bringing people together at gathering like this? Because that allows you to see, I speak different language, but I have the same problem because still Fiji is having existential threat because of this island threat. The same problem is in some other country, which like India. We are a big country, but we have many islands in India. And some of the islands are like neighbors of ASEAN. Some of the islands are closer to Indonesia than to Delhi. Delhi, of course, is now becoming an island today because of a lot of rain falling. But just imagine, that means despite different geographies, the Caribbean islands are facing the same threat that the Fiji is facing. So Pacific island states or Caribbean states or the islands, small islands in some other country like next to India is Maldives, which has a similar challenge. So just once we start understanding that this is the problem I'm facing and this is the problem my other friends are facing for no fault of this. Fiji should not be suffering this existential crisis because Fiji is not emitting greenhouse gases, which is the cause of climate change. And climate change is the cause of sea level rise. And sea level rise is the threat that islands are facing. And none of the islands are responsible for creating greenhouse gases, which is cause of climate change. So just imagine there's a famous novel, Crime and Punishment. If there's a crime, you have to do punishment. But these are the countries for whom the punishment is not only disproportionate to their act, but this is despite making any crime, they are getting punished in such a manner. So that again is a way education should be, that how and why these cosmic forces are working in a manner that some countries, some people, some societies suffer more for no fault of theirs. You can always see from my perspective, because from India, we can blame it on the karma. But what is karma again? Karma is a culmination of your actions, either in this life or the previous life. But actions are again dominated by what? Actions are the creation of your thought process. So again you go back to the same issue, that if the thought is the cause of the problem, how do you change the thought to change the karmas, and how do you change karmas to make sure that there is no unnecessary loss that is suffered by millions and billions of people on this planet? Then education is the cause and education is the resource. Education is the means of solving this problem. And therefore I again come to the same issue, congratulating you. I am sure besides enjoying Thai hospitality and Thai food, which is something which I have changed myself, but I am sure besides that, you got a great opportunity to bring together. So it's a fusion of idea, fusion hopefully of action. That's what the hands-on action will come in. And I really wish to congratulate you once again. Thank you, my dear friend, for organizing this very interesting program. And I really can't even believe that Akshay Ahuja is only such few years of age than what I could ever imagine. If I had heard that he is doing such a big program, then I must have felt he must be 80 or 85 years old. So at such young age, you can accomplish something like this. That shows the competence of the youth, and therefore all of you who are not even in college yet, some of this may be at school. So the school-going children can do wonders, and they are, unfortunately, we always ask them, the youth of tomorrow and youth of today have to address all the problems. So who created the problem? When I was young, I was school going, I created a problem which now you have to solve. It is like dirting the road and then asking somebody to come and clean the road. This is what the previous generations have done, I am sure all of you who are in the schools or running the schools or managing the schools will not like the future generation to blame you for the problems that they will be facing if you don't address them today. And to do that, I am sure this award will motivate you to do more. This award will give an incentivize your mind to think creatively and to address these problems in a most appropriate manner. Thank you very much.